Hello, and welcome to my latest art journaling tutorial. Today we'll be creating a little page for 2025, so for the coming year. As we step into a new year, why not take some time to create a meaningful art journal page focused on how you want to feel in 2025? Rather than listing specific goals or things that you want to receive, let this page reflect the emotions, the energy, and the experiences you'd like to invite into your life this year. I got this idea from a lovely member of my free Facebook group. If you would like to join an art community where we share our work together and cheer each other on, do have a look at the caption. I've got the link for you there, and you're welcome to join and share your art journaling journey there with us. This member created a beautiful page to think about and reflect on 2024, and then I thought that perhaps creating something for this new year could be really fun. So then I started asking myself, how do I want to feel this year? If you are interested into doing something similar, I would just encourage you to start with that question. So how do I want to feel this year? Perhaps it's calm, joyful, empowered, or deeply connected. It could be anything. Then you can let these intentions to guide your creativity. You can play with colors and shapes and textures that evoke those feelings for you. So here, for example, I picked calming blues. I really love blue. That's one of my absolute favorite color. You might have guessed from my earlier videos that I actually love all colors, but blue is definitely a big one for me. So I started with that. I started creating just random shapes, tapping my brush on the page and adding some water, moving the paint around with a squeegee. And then after that, I started adding some stencil shapes, some acrylic inks, as you can see here. I really love to work with fluid paints and inks, so I use a lot of water in my art journals. And I don't use any gesso on the pages normally. I just start with some collage. And the pages take the water really well. If that's something you're interested in, I would highly recommend that you just go ahead and try. The worst thing that might happen is that your page gets really wet, and then you can just tap the water off with some tissue or with a towel. So there's nothing bad will happen even if your book gets a little bit wet. If you would like some more ideas, you could also use flowing lines perhaps that represent peace, or vibrant colors or bold strokes that would symbolize excitement or confidence. It really depends how you're feeling in the moment as you're making this page or as you're creating this page. And also depends on what are your hopes and dreams for 2025. And I think it's really lovely to think about it from this perspective. So what do you want to feel like rather than what are those specific things that I want to achieve or have? I love doing that too though. So I have written a letter for myself, for example. I'm planning to open that at the end of the year, and then I'll just see if my dreams came true or not. But this is a different way of approaching that theme. So instead of things, we can think about how we want to feel. You can include words, affirmations, or images that resonates with the energy that you're hoping to achieve. This page can then act as both inspiration and a gentle reminder to align your actions and mindset with your deeper intentions throughout the year. You can always come back and look at it and refocus and remind yourself what you really wanted to feel this year or how you really wanted to feel this year. Art journaling is such a powerful way to visually connect with your inner world, so you can allow this process to be really playful and intuitive and just see what unfolds. Remember that there are no rules. I don't really know what I'm doing here. I'm just playing, adding things on. I love layering, so this is exactly what I'm doing. Starting with collages and then one layer at a time, I just keep adding to the page. Page is turning into some sort of a meadow almost. I'm really loving what's happening with the stenciled flowers in the background. And now I'm adding some butterflies in. These don't end up working quite as well as I hoped, so in the end they will be mostly covered. But you'll see a little bit later how everything turns out in the end. I love using affirmations in my art journaling, and as a gift to you, I do offer this type of affirmations for free. So you can go onto my website and sign up to my free art journaling course, which is called Art Journaling Joy. And you will get a PDF of very similar affirmations that you can then print out and use in your art journal. You don't have to print it out either. You can just use it for inspiration and use the words and sentences that you find in there in your journals if you wish to do that. I find that extremely comforting and just a lovely process to do. So you can look at the words and see what resonates, cut it out, or just write it out and use it in your art. If you're interested, do check out the caption and you can find a link there to my Art Journaling Joy course. And once you sign up, you can get the PDF. It's a downloadable PDF that you can then print out. Here I've now cut out all the words that I wanted to use. These are my words for 2025, and I've added them here as a final layer on my page. What I end up doing here are my little lines or outlines around the words, and I didn't actually like it, so I decided to just go ahead and erase them. I thought perhaps I could leave these very light outlines around the words, but I didn't really quite like the look of it, so I did try and erase most of it. So then I get backed with some acrylic ink and I want to do some splattering. That's just something I absolutely love. So I start splattering away, and as usual, it gets a bit out of hand. I never know when to stop, and I keep adding different colors onto the page, trying to create bigger droplets until I'm finally able to stop myself. Okay, I better stop it here. I have a tendency of overdoing things, and I've talked about this before, but for me, less isn't more. More is more. So that means that I always just keep going and going and going, and when I look back, I realize that I should have actually stopped 2 hours ago. I just love the process so much. That's the thing for me that makes it so hard to stop. I would love to encourage you to just keep going until the energy kind of dries out and you feel like, okay, I could keep going, but I would like to move on as well. That's usually that for me. I can't really say that this is the end, that there's nothing else I want to add, because there's actually quite a lot of things that I would like to add still. But I'm now deciding that, okay, the energy has run out and I will move on to a different page. And that means that I can come back to this later if I want to, or it might just stay like this. One thing, for example, what I would like to do perhaps is the edges over here. I'm not super happy with the way they look. I do like the layers and the text peeking through, but there's just something there that's niggling at me. And also, I have this tendency of outlining pictures that I put on the page, and I really feel like I would love to outline the butterflies and the bird so they would pop out a bit more. I went a bit overboard with the splatter. I always do that, so there's nothing new there. I really, really, really love the background and what's happening here. So instead of looking at what I don't like, or not so much I don't like, but what I might just keep pushing further and further, I'm focusing on things that I actually like. This has been quite the process, and I just think it's interesting to see where things go, because for me it's just totally unplanned. Sometimes I do wish, see, I can't stop. I have to keep going. I won't do too much. I'm just adding a little bit of water just to see how it behaves with the droplets. I do sometimes wish that I was a bit more organized and that I wish that I liked planning a bit more. But at the same time, the fun of it for me is in the unpredictability of the process. That's why I really love it. So, okay, I was just only going to do a little bit, but I've done quite a lot. So I'm going to stop now. One more. There we go. Okay. Someone should tell me to step away from the page. I need the art police here to control me. Just taking a bit of the water off. And now that this is wet, the colors kind of pop out even more, and I really like this corner, this area. It will be interesting to see how this dries. I'll put a photo at the end of the video so you can see what it looks like. And I hope you join me and do a little bit of manifesting for the year. I like to call it manifesting because we are sort of calling and attracting these feelings towards ourselves in different ways, and it'll be interesting to see how they actually do manifest themselves as the year goes on. I hope you've had a lovely January so far, and if you watch this video later on, I hope you've had a lovely year. And do leave me a comment and let me know what you thought of this process and if you're going to try it out. And I'll see you again next week. Happy creating!